everyone. Good morning, wherever you hope you're having an amazing day. So, welcome to day 10 of 30 Days of Learning Power Platform Track. Our session today is going to be on Introduction to Power Apps, and our session will introduce us to building applications without code. And our speaker for today is Kolawole Ajiboye, who is a certified Power Platform expert with strong experience in Power Apps, Canvas app, Microsoft Automate, Microsoft Connection Gateway, and Microsoft Teams. Welcome, Kolawole.
All right, thank you very much for the introduction. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're calling from. I want to be sure I'm audible. Please just confirm if I am audible.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, yeah. So it's good to be here, and basically what we'll be looking at today is just basically going to be on Power Apps. I'm very sure we've been introduced to some of the Power Platform. But however, today specifically we'll be looking at Power Apps and why Power Apps. Why are people making use of Power Apps? What are the benefits of low code, and why you should actually learn this, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to present. All right. So I would like to request this more like a interactive session. So what this means is as I continue with this, if there are questions, you can easily drop in the chat while I respond. So basically, as introduced, my name is Kolawole Ajiboye, a senior Power Platform developer. So let's just leave the introduction and let's just move to the business of the day. Yeah. So, as we all know, Power Apps is one of the low-code applications where we have the Power Apps, the Power Automate, the Power BI, the Power Virtual Agent, and the Microsoft pages and the Power Pages right now, right? So, looking at Power Apps, which seems to be like the front end, whereby customer face, right? The users face to actually input data. So, I'm also going to be using some terms like CRUD. So when you hear CRUD, it means create, read, update, and delete. Yeah. So whenever you hear CRUD, that's what it means. In the course of this presentation, I'll be mentioning that. Yeah. So why low code application development? Number one is it makes business demand faster, right? So for you to say you want to learn this, it means customers, that is businesses, are already having interest in them, right? So a lot of businesses now have their maybe in-house Power App developer just for it to be easier for them to meet their own business need, right? Unlike you outsourcing a development to the to maybe external clients, whereby they spend 4 to 5 months for them to come up with a application. But now Power Apps has actually made it with the use of Power Apps on Power Platform that make it easier for you to be able to build like a form, and under a couple of days you are done with it, and with that you've eliminated a lot of time. Reduction of cost as well is one of the things why you see people try to leverage on it. So now the good thing is you learning this, it means you are actually opportune to be in like a track whereby businesses are trying to leverage on against looking into outsourcing their development to other businesses, right? So seamless app development as well. So most of these application are enterprise, which means they are owned by they are all these big organizations whereby they have their own Microsoft 365, and them seamless integration. For instance, they have the Azure AD integration. We have the OneDrive integration. We have the SharePoint integration, which are very seamless. You don't need to. It does not require API, right? And some other things. Effortless integration also. So not to waste much of our time, let's just move on to next slide, which are Power Apps, the world and most complete low code platform. So if you are looking for like a low code whereby you really do not want much of coding, you really don't have much of coding skills, Power Apps is one of the solution that I'm going to suggest for you. Right, you can build up as fast as possible with a very nice interface, make your apps to the next level, scale with confidence, and a platform whereby you have unlimited innovation, right? Which means you can just sit and come up with an application. I feel it should actually be automated, right? So basically, organizations do a lot of things manually, and the idea behind Power Platform is to automate the manual process so that there won't be ambiguity, and also there won't be silos of files and also process as well. Yeah. So I'm sure we are conversant with all these icons that we have here, the Power BI, the Power Apps, the Power Automate, and also the Power Virtual Agent. But basically today, we'll be looking at the Power Apps part of it, which um, we'll just be talking about some of the features, right? Now, the good thing is you developing an application means you can develop an application for mobile phone and also a tablet phone. And not just tablet phone, you can also develop an application for a laptop, right? That is your PC. Now, if you can look at from my screen, you see the mobile here, the tablet here, and also the tablet and the PC and also the tablet here, which means it's cross across all devices. Whatever you build using it's responsive more like, right? So and also we have the ability to choose either you want to build a tablet app or you want to build a mobile app, which is awesome, right? And if you are conversant with the likes of PowerPoint and Excel, it's going to be very, very easy for you because in Power Apps we use functions just the way we use function in Excel, and also we use slides. I mean, we use screens just the way we use slide in PowerPoint, right? So, and another thing is it empower business users to solve their own problems. So you coming in as a beginner now, it's just we trying to build you to be able to solve problem for businesses. Right, that's it. And also pro developer. So for instance, maybe you are a developer, maybe you're already learning the likes of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you learning C Sharp, Python, and all. This platform does not restrict you. It also accommodates you, which means you can also write your bulky codes right here in Power Platform, right? I mean, Power Apps, which is so amazing. Now we're just going to be looking at a bit of anatomy of an app when it comes to Power Apps, right? Any platform support, which means irrespective of the platform you're talking about, it has the capability. You can use integration of camera, integration of GPS, pen ink, like automatically once you write a pen, automatically it converts it. You can share app just like document. So unlike the likes of the custom application, when you build that, they need to either you send it via Flash or via Drive. This you can just share just the way you share your document online, right? Which is awesome. Seamless integration, which I made mention earlier. Extensibility of models, right? There is no limit, as I made mention of earlier too. You can actually do your custom connector. It is very accommodating for both the beginners and also the advanced, right? So whichever you find yourself, the system is always accommodating for you. What you see is what you get is another fantastic feature of Power Platform and also Power Apps as well. So for Power Apps, just if you are doing your HTML, CSS, you need to write your lines of code and you need to launch it, you build it on probably a browser. But for this, the way you have it built, just the way you are designing your maybe your Figma automatically, all you just need to do is just to put your code at the back, right? So what you see is what you get. Also data connectivity, it supports over 700 data connectivity, right? Which is awesome. You don't need to start start thinking of how do I connect with my other system. Like for instance, you can connect with Oracle, you can connect with Adobe, you can connect with Adobe Signature, and a whole lot of connectivity that are very, very much available here. So building dataverse, which is also one of the things we've talked about initially in the course of this training. Dataverse is, as we all know, dataverse is the inline database of the Power Platform, right? So also it has a very seamless integration with that. And app logic, which is if you can understand formulas in Excel, just the way I mentioned, and logics of Power Apps, leverage AI Beta to democratize all your organizations. Now, so innovate faster with a low code platform. Now, another benefit of you learning this for both yourself and also to the organization is that it reduces time and cost. For instance, you coming on board, learning all this is that just the right thing is the people that are going to hire you, they will hire you because they know that you are going to reduce their cost, you are going to reduce time of production as well, right? So just to digress a bit, Power Platform developer, Power Platform, Power Apps developer, and all. The reason why they are now sought after is because most organizations already have their Microsoft 365 tenants, and then they want to maximize it. So how do they maximize it? For them to maximize it, all they just need is just to employ one or two people that are Power Platform developer, get them on board, and then they can automate what they have. So you having the knowledge, you having the knowledge of Power Apps, Power Automate, and the rest means you can get yourself a job, right? Since you are sought after, your skills is sought after, the kind of sector you are currently, the kind of learning you are trying to get right now is sought after, which is a lot, and you have leverage over others, right? Also errors, reduction of error. This automatically takes a lot of error of the process, and then the consolidate, right? Silos and LOB application and improve business processes. So basically, any organization, what they want is high increase in productivity and also business processes as well. They don't want process to be lagging. They don't want process to be slow. So they rather invest better into the low code platform. And how do they invest? Is by employing people that are skilled, right? And before you know it, you are there getting your jobs and all. Right. So let's just move to the next slide. Customize, extend, and build all the apps you need. Now, talking of this, as I said earlier, you can actually build an application for a mobile phone. You can build for a tablet. You can also build for a PC, right? And then all this can actually be integrated together. And then you can make use of whichever data source you want. Maybe SharePoint as a data source, maybe Dataverse as a data source. I can also recollect that they've mentioned, we've been taught on the Power Platform, on the SharePoint, and also the Dataverse part of database. Yeah, highly customized task and rule-based application. So also talking of Power Apps, you can easily customize rules. So for instance, you want to build an app whereby it's only the manager that should be able to have access to this particular page, or you want the interns to be able to have access to this particular page, and basically you just want to classify your role, right? So this set of people have access to it, and this set of people have access to it. Power Apps is accommodating when it comes to that as well. So it makes it very easy. Yeah, immersive and end-to-end solution as well is available when it comes to Power Platform. So in case you are looking at why am I learning Power Platform, why am I learning Power Apps as well? So just for me to mention some of the global and widely known organizations that are actually currently making use of this for productivity, right? We have the likes of Pepsi, we have the likes of Nokia, we have the likes of Microsoft themselves, we have the likes of Standard Bank. A lot of sectors. We talk about the retail sector, the manufacturing sector, the government sector, the energy sector, banking and finance, professional sector, and also the technology. So what this means is, after you successfully learned all this, it means you can get yourself a job in any of this sector, or some of the sections that are not mentioned. But before you can do this, you need to be able to understand the rudiments, which we are trying to actually let you know now, right? So this is just to mention a few of the platform, the organization that currently make it of them, right? So talking of Power Apps, we have the Canvas app, we have the model-driven app, we have the Microsoft Power Apps portal, which is more like the new Microsoft Power Pages now, right? So for Canvas app, it tells business power users to create and use custom business application across platform using Excel and PowerPoint skills, right? So basically, all you just need is just to have a bit of your PowerPoint skills or Excel. And if you do not have any of those, it is still very simple for you to actually start, right? It's not something that is very hard. It's not something that you need to crack your brain to actually understand. It's just the normal logic, how you just put in some kind of functions. And another good thing about it is the system automatically gives you some kind of suggestions on what to do next, right? So from this slide, you can connect to data system you already using as you can connect to system easily, right? So when we talk about this, we talk about your data source. Maybe you want to use Oracle as your database, you want to use SQL Server. So for those that are coming from maybe the SQL Server part, you can use the SQL Server as your database. You can use Power Platform, that is the database as a database. You can use Excel as a database. Irrespective of the database you're looking at, the words come to us, all you just need is just to expose the API of the data source you want to use, and then it connects to it. So it's that easy, right? You can create apps forms and app and forms workflow without writing a code, right? So another good thing is, apart from the fact that you want to customize your application to be robust, to be beautiful, you want it to be gigantic, right? Power Apps has also been, it's that easy that once you have your data source, you can create an application directly from your SharePoint list, right? So which means it's just going to perform the crude operation. And now it comes to time that I'll be asking more of question. I want this to be interactive, just as I said. So can someone drop in the chat what a CRUD is? CRUD. Can someone drop that in the chat? I want to know if we are actually following this class, right? So apart from the fact that you want to create an application that is going to be gigantic, you can create an application under 5 minutes or under 2 minutes with a CRUD application, with a CRUD operation, which means you can. I don't want to give you the answer. So I'm expecting answers in the chat. The moderator, please confirm if they are dropping the answers and let me get to know the feedback. Thank you. Yeah. So use apps on any device, both web and on mobile. So we've made mention of this more than enough. This does not say you have to use a mobile phone before you can have access to the app, or you have to have a tablet before you can have access to the app, or a PC. So it's across all devices, right? And then it's not restricted to maybe iOS or Android or this particular operating system. It's all operating system friendly, right? Yeah. So for web and mobile, just as I made mention, you can build a standalone web and mobile apps and customize the existing app in Office 365 and Dynamics 365 to deliver a seamless experience. So now I would like to ask, what can someone mention in the chat as well? What are the applications? Just mention like 5 different applications that we have in my Office 365. 5 applications that we have in Office 365, except Microsoft Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. I need someone to list that in the chat as well, just to be sure that we are following with us. Yeah. So you can craft pixel perfect experience from blank canvas for highly customized tasks and rule-based application as well. Yeah. So moderator, please, can you speak now? I want to know if the class is interactive as planned.
Sure, they answered the meaning of CRUD. create, read, update, and delete. And someone has answered the applications, Teams, Power Automate, Power BI,
It's not up to 5. Well,
Power
that's awesome.
Apps, Outlook, Publish. Yes, yes, it's up to 5.
All right, that's awesome. So I'm going to give it up for you. That's nice one. You've done awesomely well. And for the person that answered it could also you've done awesomely well, which means we are following the class. It's so nice. So as we move on, I'm still going to proceed with also asking more questions as well. Now, starting with Power Apps, as I made mention earlier, we have two types. We have three types. We have the Canvas, the model driven, and also the Porter part of it, which is more of that that is connecting with the external users, right? Canvas app start with user experience. What when you see Y and when you see WYSIWYG, can someone tell me the meaning? Can someone tell me in the chat the meaning of WYSIWYG? Any idea?
Yes, someone just said what you see is what you get.
Awesome, perfect. Yeah, so that's nice. And what you see is what you get is what WYSIWYG means. So what you see is what you get: designer, task-based, and rule-based app. Match up data from hundreds of sources. So what we're talking about basically is that this platform is easy for you to build an application, and whatever you're seeing at that point is what you're going to be getting as what you've designed, right? You as a designer, you as a developer, whatever name you call it, whatever you're seeing at that point is what you'll be getting eventually. Now that takes us to the other part of Power Apps, which is the model-driven application, which is so basically you need to have like a dataverse before you can actually build a model-driven app, right? So basically it interconnects with each other, and then it starts a data model relationship, business process, and a lot of business application with it. So now talking of database, database is more like more robust database compared to that of SharePoint list, right? But then that's not why we are here today. But for you to build a model-driven application, you need a database, right? You need a database as a data source whereby you can actually use to connect. So here is an example of what it looks like. Now, let me just do this and I'll be asking more questions on them later. So for Canvas app, basically Canvas app are applications built mostly for user interfacing to interface users, right? For users basically. And why model driven application built for administrative purpose. So when I say administrative purpose, it means more like a back end whereby you can do a lot of that is you determine what is being seen at the front end sometimes. So for instance, you want to be able to change maybe a particular drop down that are be seen in a Canvas app. That can be done on a model driven app, right? On a model driven app as well, you can decide to create a dashboard of the report that has been created into the database as well, right? So basically, just in a nutshell, model-driven applications are for administrative purpose, while Canvas application are for users, right? Users to fill from basically. Yeah. So that's it for both application. Now, easy authoring. Truly what you see is what you get. Full control over user experience. Use it as you build it. Right. So when I was talking about what you see is what you get, this is an example of what our canvas look like. So when we say canvas, so for those of us that are familiar with the like of Canva that we use to design and the likes of Figma, the likes of Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator and all, and basically just the way you drag things, you more like you're drawing, right? And if you are conversant as well with PowerPoint, right? On PowerPoint you bring in a new slide, then probably you add an action. Maybe you're adding you want to type a text, which means you need to add a label. you want a box, you just add you add a design and all those things. So if you are conversant with all those things, basically that's exactly more like what we are doing when it comes to Power Apps, right? You can create app logic with familiar Excel-like expression, right? So if you can see, so we're still going to be going more into this. So from the top here, I don't know if it is clear from your end, there is fx, which is the formula, right? The fx, whereby you write in your formula, just the way you write your functions in your Excel. Maybe you concatenate, you add, you subtract, all those things that you do on your Excel, almost same way we also do in Power Apps. Match up data from multiple sources right at app level. Awesome, awesome. So what this means is you can actually connect to more than one data source at a time. What this means is that, for instance, you have the list of, okay, now let's say you have the list of this is a device ordering application, right? Let's say you have the list of companies. These are companies, right? Maybe you have the list of this company on a SharePoint list. You have these images on a database, and probably you have something else sitting in Oracle. You can bring the three of them together in a in just one app, and then you consume them. Isn't that awesome? I know the answer is yes, it is. This is not something that is a rocket science for you to do. If you're going to be doing all this, maybe when you are writing your custom code, this will take you couple of months before you can achieve things that can be done within a week when it comes to Power Platform, right? And Power Apps, basically. Now, cloud and on-premise connectivity. Now, so I'm sure some of us must have heard of on-premise, and some of us haven't heard of it. So in the chat, I want you to tell me what does on-premise means. If you know what on-premise means, can you just drop in the chat while I wait a second, just some seconds to get that. What does on-premise means? What does on-premise means? Hello, no response.
None yet.
So is it that we haven't heard of on-premise before? All right, I think so not to take much of our time, I'm just going to explain what on-premise is. It seems to be new to some of us. So before all these our Microsoft Word are online, before our SharePoint comes online and all. So there is something we call server, right? I'm sure most of us have heard of server before. So server basically is servers are we have the physical server that are installed on premise, right? Whereby it has all this storage where we save our files, we save a lot of things there. Those things are on premise, and then you can only access them when you are around the premises of that server, unless we are making use of VPN, right? So what this means, some organizations, they still make use of on-premise still. Now that's when you hear some people say, I need to get to the office before I can access this file. I need to get to office before I can download whatever. I need to get to office before whatever. Now, that's for on-premise. Now it's after some years, cloud came in. So cloud is like a hosted server as well, whereby you can connect anywhere, anytime, as far as you are connected to the internet. I'm sure we are aware of cloud computing. Cloud computing is like the opposite of on-premise. On-premise, you need to be in that premises for you to be able to access it, right? Now, this is going to give birth to another question. Please, if you know what an hybrid is, you can drop in the chat. An hybrid. When it comes to hybrid, what does it mean? I'm not going to wait for anyone, but you can drop that in the chat, right? So I'm talking about cloud and on-premise connectivity. What I'm trying to say is Power Apps now make it so easy. The fact that Power Apps is a cloud-based solution doesn't mean that it cannot connect with an on-premise solution. Again, on-premise server. So all we just need to do is just to get an on-premise data gateway downloaded. Once you have an on-premise data gateway, you can then connect to an on-premise server, right? So you can build in connectivity to hundreds of cloud service files, database, web APIs, etc. That's the ones in the cloud. Seamless hybrid connectivity to on-premise system via the on-premise data gateway. And also you can build custom connector for everyone to leverage on. So apart from the fact that you yourself will be making use of the custom connector that you've created at some point in time, probably when you or with advanced, we might need to be like a custom connector that is not available as part of what we have here, right? As I made mention earlier, we have over 700 connectors, but then they are not still enough. There's going to be reason for us to create more, and Microsoft will make it easier for us, right? So this is us moving on to the next stage of our Power Apps development, whereby you've consumed almost all the connectors that they've given you, and then you'll be like, oh, no, this is not enough for me. I need to be the connector for myself, since this is not actually giving me what I want. Then you can create yourself as well. Yeah. So cross-platform, publish instantly to iOS, Android. So when you develop an application, maybe you use Flutter or you use Xamarin, right? Eventually you need to send the application to iOS, to Play Store. They need to validate it. They need to check it. Sometimes they even send it back that there are errors and all those things. But in this one, once you are done, automatically, all you just need to do is just to download an application from iOS or Android, whereby your application resides on, right? It's stress-free. Basically, it's stress-free. Sharing apps is like sharing document. I made mention of that earlier. And then also you can manage environments as well. You can also amplify traditional developer productivity, which means we've made mention of this earlier, talking about the traditional developer, the custom developer, the core developer, the C# guru, the Python guru, the HTML guru, and all. This is not restricted to any of them, right? So if you have all those skills, you still have the space to actually show your skills. You can write your bulky code, and Power Apps is there to accommodate it, right? Can build custom connector that everyone can use. I made mention of that. Write advanced client and server-side logic, leveraging Azure machine learning cognitive service. Now, I'm sure as part of the track of this learning is Azure machine learning. All these as handshake with each other, right? So one good thing about Power Platform and Microsoft 365 solution in general is the seamless integration, right? You don't need to be looking for a way to connect them together. They have this seamless integration that has been provided directly by Microsoft, right? All you just need is mostly just to click, and then you configure it basically. Yeah. So that makes work also very, very easy, right? Better together, embed Canvas apps. Now, when you are done developing your app, apart from the fact that you can access your app via mobile, tablet, and all, you can also embed. Um, I'm very sure we know what embed is. If you don't know what embed means you bring in like a complete solution, right? Or whatever it is, bringing it and dropping it somewhere else, right? So for instance, in place of Power Platform, Power Apps has been built, it has been tested and all. All you just need is just to get either the iframe or the code, and then embed it. You can embed it in your website, right? You can embed a Power Apps into your website. You can embed it in a SharePoint site. I'm sure in the course of this training, Power and SharePoint has been talked about, and then we know what SharePoint is: a collaborative tool, a storage, a portal, and a whole lot of things that can be done with SharePoint. So, for instance, you have a SharePoint site, and you want your users to be able to have access to the application that you've been building, or the one that you've built on Power Apps. all you need to do is just to embed the app. So as part of the web part we have in Power Apps, in SharePoint is Power Apps, right? So you can embed that, and then directly you just have access to your application directly. Yeah. So you can also embed Power Apps in Power BI. Isn't that awesome? You can also embed Power Apps itself. I mean, the Canvas Power App. You can also embed it in the model-driven application. Yeah. So Microsoft is trying to make everything very easy for you. So instead of you leaving the website, then going to Power Apps to go and access the Power Apps, they'll be like, okay, we'll bring the app to meet you anywhere you are. So whether you are on your website, you're on your SharePoint, you're on your Power BI, you're on your model-driven, the application, you can embed it in any of them, which to me is very awesome because it's actually reducing a lot of time that you're supposed to spend navigating from one tablet to another. Yeah. So the key maker concept is what we'll be talking about next. And this is just we talking about Power Apps Studio, basically, right? So I'll be dropping this link in the chat, which is I'm sure most of us might be conversant with the link. Sorry. So there is a link to Power Apps. So for you to start the Power Apps learning, that's um where you can actually start from. Yeah, sorry. I'm very sorry for this. A second, please. Right. Please confirm if my screen is up.
Yes, please. The slide.
All right. Okay, thank you. It's up to one down to. All right. So talking of Power Apps Maker Portal, right? This is where you can actually learn. So starting from here, you can actually, this is the home, you can learn. You can learn some things about Power Apps. You can view, you can also manage applications. You can view the apps you have, open apps, create apps, run apps, create from sample, then also data. If time permits us, right? After the presentation, we can just look into some of them. Also, we have the data part of it, whereby you can see your your data verse. Also, we have the chatbot part of it. So for us that are conversant with the Power Virtual Agent, you can create your Power Virtual Agent chat from here. The business logic part of it, where you can add flow to your application. The AI builder as well is a very awesome and a fantastic also feature of Power Apps. Then solution also. So as time goes on, so we start with creating an application directly in your Power App. So as time goes on, you will be creating application in your solution, which means so it gets to a time whereby you'll be working with clients and you want to migrate the solution and you don't want anything to happen to it, right? So that's when you now build your application on the solution, your database is on the solution, the flow is on the solution, so you can save it as a managed solution, right? And then you can push to the customer wherever I want to put this. Yeah. So Power App Studio experience. Canvas app authoring experience. Start with your data. Start with blank canvas, start with a template. So from our screen here, we can see that Power Apps is this easy, and then apart from the fact that it's easy, they also try to make it easier even to like a 10-year-old child, right? So for instance, you want to build an application from blank, which means you want to come up with all your designs, right? Or you want to design and also connect to your data source while you are while you've opened the data, while you've opened the application. Also, you can create a model-driven app from blank, also Portal from blank as well. Now, you can create from data. So, earlier I made mention of some data that can be connected to our Power Apps. We have the SharePoint, the Excel, SQL Server, Common Data Service. Now, it is commonly now the database, formerly called Common Data Service, right? Now, we have other sources that can be connected to, but then we won't be looking at that. Also, this is talking about the data and also the blank part. You can also start an application from template. So then when you open your PowerPoint, you see some kind of template that has been given to you. I mean, design template that has been given to you. But in this case, there are templates that might suit your own solution. For instance, you want to build a leave application. There is already a template for a leave application whereby all you just need to do is just to tweak and manipulate things and then make it suit your own requirement, right? Also, maybe you want to develop an application for service desk. There's another one existing. A lot of processes has been built by Microsoft, and all you just need to do is to open it, do it, and then make sure it fits your own requirement, and basically you're good to go. Yeah, explore the app designer experience. Now, this is something that we need. So talking about the app designer experience, excuse me, the app designer experience is where we actually design and do everything on our app. So I'll start by number one, right? The left navigation bar. So while you're creating your application, we also need to be conversant with the terms that are used, right? So now we are no more beginners. I mean, we are no more learners. We are more like a junior Power Apps developer in Hembra somehow, right? So now there are some terms that we're supposed to be making use of, and just for the other people to be able to relate easily. The left navigation bar is where we have all these, right? All these are called the left navigation bar. Also we have number two to be we have number two to the middle pane. So the middle pane is where we have the canvas itself, where the design is done, right? That's the middle pane whereby all the design are being done. We have the right hand pane. We don't need to look for anything. We know that the right hand pane, we have the left navigation bar. Why do we call this left navigation? Because you can actually collapse and also close this, right? That's why it's a navigation bar. And also we have the number four, which is the property, right? Here is the property drop down. So currently we are on text. I'm sure this might not be clear from your end, but this is text, and then it's the drop down whereby you can see all properties of the action that is being selected on. So currently the action that is selected on is this text label, right? If you select on this, it means this is what you want to display on this particular text label. We have the formula bar, which we all know, which looks like the Excel formula bar. We have the ribbon. So what's the ribbon? The ribbon is what we have at the left top corner here. So this is the ribbon. And also we have the additional item, which is our number 7. So these are additional item. This is where you decide to run your application. You can redo. So just the way you have the Ctrl Z in your Word document, Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all. There's also undo and redo in Power Apps, right? So you can do a undo here and redo. You can play it. Also, there is an app checker which checks if there is a problem, if there is an error with your application. All these things are awesome features that makes application very, very friendly for you to actually build, right? When you have an error, the application is telling you what you've done wrong. Isn't that awesome? Very awesome. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, so we have that to be number 7. Also, we have number 8, which is the last one, was the the breadcrumb, right? This is where you can actually this is just like the part, right? So we are currently on a screen. Inside that screen we have a gallery. In that inside the gallery we have a label. So it's just like when you open your file explorer, and then it shows the desktop, then slash folder name slash the next folder. So this what we have as the breadcrumbs here. Basically it's just trying to demonstrate what you are currently and what are the things that you are leveraging on it currently. Yeah. So Power Apps Mobile. So I'm also going to implore all of us to download Power Apps. So either on iOS or on Android. So you can download Power Apps so that you can actually have access to testing, right? So if you are building a mobile app, after building it, you might want to test it from your phone. Instead of going through your PC, you can just easily log in your credentials. So the same credentials you are using for your learning can also be used for the one you used in logging in for this meeting we are on currently. You can use it for that as well. So you can download it on probably on your iPhone, Android, either your tablet or your phone as well. So for PC, you don't need to download. It's just that for that is the web browser. You use your web browser, yeah. So Power Apps today, we talk about some common properties, right? So just the way we have home, insert, view, action, and gallery in your Microsoft Word. If you can remember, we have all this in our Microsoft Word, the same way we have it. So for home, we have the new screen, whereby you can add new screen. We have the theme. We have, this is talking about maybe the font size. We have all these. Some of them are grayed out currently. You can reorder, you can align all this. So talking about undo, redo, play, check, and all. We have it here as well. Also, we have the UI control. Talking of the new screen, you can add a new label, a button. So all these things are just you drop it, selecting on them, they are dropping into your middle pane, and then you arrange them the way you want it to be, right? We have the text, we have the control, the gallery, the data table, the form, the media, charts, and all like that. And also we have the view part of it, whereby you can view your data source, your media, your collection, your variable, and also some other things. We have the UI data build binding property as well, whereby you get to see where you write your formulas as well. Yeah. So still proceeding on our canvas and how it looks. We have the screen and control view, and also we have the middle pane, which is our canvas, and the property pane, which is the property pane whereby you can actually change your property. We have the property, and also we have the advanced property as well. So these are just talking about properties. And also, as part of what we have in Power Apps is also gallery. So gallery are used in displaying item that has been saved in a particular database, right? So for instance, you have your data saved in Oracle and you want to display it on your Power Apps. All you use is just the gallery. Yeah. So learning our learning objectives and the things that we've learned basically is to be able to look into basically the need for Power Apps, connect to data source, filter data, work with multiple screens and navigation, customize the user experience, galleries, and control. And that takes us to the end of the presentation. I Moderator, do I still have a bit of time if we can check and look at um, and look at the Power Apps and just see one or two things that can be shown before we just call it a day. Thank you all for listening. I do appreciate your time and everything. Yeah, so the moderator, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you so much. We enjoyed the session. You have like 4 minutes.
Okay, so let's see what we can do with 4 minutes. I want to be sure we all are excited to see a bit of Power Apps, right? So I dropped the link, which is make.powerapps.com, right? Yeah, so on load of this screen, this is what we have, right? You have the environment you are logged in, you have the tenant you are logged in as well. So here is the learn, whereby you can actually learn some things, help topics, community. This is just basically talking about the Power Platform business, and also we have the apps part of it. This show the list of applications that you've actually built, right? These are applications built in like some days and some months ago, and also you can create a new app by selecting on Canvas, model driven, or whichever you want to create. And in case you want to import an existing application, all you need to do is just to select on import, and it gives you where you can upload it. But we are not importing anything now. And also from the create part as well, you can still look at you can create a blank app from you can create an app from Database, SharePoint, Excel, SQL, and also there are two new features that was added to Power Apps, right? For instance, those of you that do that are into Figma, UI, UX, and all, you can have your Figma design and then automatically you convert it to a form, basically. Yeah, so this also works for that. Or you have an image that you've actually sketched and you want to have it interpreted into Power Apps. Also, the image function works for that. Yeah. So talking of this, I think I skipped the template part. Let me see. Okay. Create. All right, so here are templates. Here are loads of templates that Microsoft have created. So we have the likes of Fundraiser Innovation Challenge, Asset Checkout, Power Apps Training for Office, Meetup Capture, Power Apps Training, Budget Tracker, Help Desk, site inspection, Service Desk. All these are applications that have been built. So all you just need is just to select on it and then do like a more of tweaking and then make it suit your own requirements, basically. Yeah, so let's just do one and see what it gives us. So for instance, your organization wants to do like an employee engagement survey, right? So it's going to ask you to give it a name. So I want to use the existing name, right? Let's just create. So we have a few minutes to go. So, but then let's just see how it feels to build an application from templates. So mind you, it is advised you have a very stable internet for you to enjoy the service, basically. So can you see this has already built this is the built app already, right? And I can run it and have it working. So this is the app, but I can tweak it. But for now, let me just get started. You see, this survey consists of 5 questions. I want to answer all the questions. What is your role? Okay, I'm a team lead. Next, what department do you work for? My department is not here, so let's see. I work for administrative. Next, how many hours do you spend on emails? Okay, I spend 4 hours. Next, so this was built by Microsoft, but then they are giving you the opportunity to leverage on it, right? So we are going to do a little tweak and see. Now I was so mistaken. I'm not supposed to respond on that. So now let's do like a change of this engagement. Let's say we want to say 30 days of learning. 30 days of learning survey. If I run it, I have it displayed already, right? So I've been able to do that, and I can say, okay, instead of the 5 minutes that they say is going to take us, I want to say it's not going to take us up to 5 minutes. It's only going to take us, let's see the text. Okay, it's only going to take us 2 minutes, right? If I run it, this is what I have. So the other time I was talking about the undo, redo, and also, for instance, it's supposed to be 5, and I want to change it back to 5. All I just need to do is select on undo. Can you see it has changed back to 5? minutes. So this is all trying to explore some of the things that we've actually made mention of. And also, let's just look at, let's say I want to change the background color of this from white to, let's say I want to change it to a gray color. Can you see? It has changed. And if I run it, that's what I will have. So it is very simple. Now that takes us to what you see is what you get, right? These are our screens, right? These are our screens. This is our formula bar, that is the FX, whereby we write our color, right? So also we can decide to add an image if you want to add an image into your screen or whatever you want to do. At this point, I'm going to attend to questions. I'm really sorry for taking much of our time, but I just needed to show us one or two things. Thank you very much for being attentive. At this point, I think I'm just going to hand over to the moderator while she takes the question for the day. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much. Please, does anyone have any question? Yeah, I guess there's no question. Everyone understood. Again, Kolawole.
All right, awesome, awesome. So I must say I really appreciate everyone's time, and my advice is this is just the beginning. We can actually do better than this. And also let's try to encourage our friends to join this. This is the lifetime opportunity. This is your career that you are building basically, is I must say. Yeah, so me coming up like as an intern to be like a senior power platform developer, I know what I've gone through. If I had had this kind of opportunity by now, I'll be like bigger than this and above this basically. I would like to appreciate everyone on the call. Jafflet, I appreciate you. I see you, and I see every organizer on the call. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much once again. Thank you, everyone, for attending to this. Don't forget to tweet, share, and encourage your friends to join the program ongoing.